You're listening to the Cyberwire Network, powered by N2K.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hacking Humans podcast, where each week we look behind the social engineering scams, phishing schemes, and criminal exploits that are making headlines and taking a heavy toll on organizations around the world. I am Maria Varmazes in this week for our illustrious co-host, Dave Bittner, who is on vacation. And joining me is the one and only Joe Kerrigan.
Hi, Maria.
And also joining us this week is returning guest and friend of the show, Michelle Kellerman. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Maria. Hi, Joe. Long time.
Long time, not first time.
Been a week.
It's been a week.
Look at that.
Thank you so much for joining us again, Michelle. We always enjoy having you on the show.
Thank you.
Glad to have
Happy
you.
to be here.
Yeah, well, we've got a bunch of interesting stories to share this week, but before we get into all that, Michelle, you have some follow-up from my story last week?
Yeah. For those who listened last week, when I was saying that Maria's story tickled my brain, I meant it. So I started poking around about similar types of stories about all these like crime centers. And I found a press release from the UN for, I believe this was in the last month or so. I want to say it was from June maybe. And it was a UN press release in conjunction with the Philippines. So the UN Organization on Drugs and Crime worked directly with the Philippines to try and start cracking down on these organized crime, like fraud centers. They're called Philippine Offshore Gaming Operators, so POGOs, because we needed a fun acronym about it. And
POGOs, okay.
It's only unique to the Philippines, though.
Yes, it's only unique to the Philippines. And so they worked directly with the Philippines to come up with identification and prosecution strategies to crack down on this. And there's already a massive improvement. So happy to see that there is some progress being made. This is not just being done without anybody paying attention to it. And there was a bunch of really great statistics on it. I also saw another report from a Chinese website where they were talking about how China's reporting year over year a decrease in fraud and public safety crimes, particularly cybercrime and theft, because of the controls that they are putting in place to crack down on it. Maybe, hopefully, there's something that we can learn. So there are pockets of efforts that are turning successful, which feels like a breath of fresh air because we normally just see how much worse it's gotten. And we're starting to see some organized efforts overseas actually trying to do something and being successful about it and doing prosecuting. They're going right for human trafficking instead of the cybercrime of it all.
Yeah. That's an interesting, very interesting angle. And honestly, that feels like it has a lot more teeth, understandably.
And you can see it. Like you can quantify the human toll. Whereas with a lot of these crimes, a lot of times we can't know, get even remotely close to what the toll actually is. And being able to prove cybercrime in court is a significantly high bar.
Yeah.
With a lot of stuff that just, there's not a lot of information for prosecution sometimes. Whereas human trafficking, you can physically see it. So, they're taking different approaches.
Yeah, I think that different approach is fascinating. And as you said, it's a thing that you can see. Cybercrime is certainly not a victimless crime, but it is essentially, in a way, virtual until it's not, for lack of a better term. So, and certainly the trafficking, the footprint for that is huge.
Here's a statistic for exactly how, just with this one effort over a 1-year period, PAOCC has so far liberated 5,949 people, including 3,483 foreigners. 218 perpetrators are awaiting trial on just this one effort in one country.
Wow.
So almost 6,000 people liberated from human trafficking for this.
Oh my God. That's a lot.
Unbelievable.
That talk about the human toll. I think that is definitely something interesting to put a pin in and keep an eye out as we move forward about other organizations and countries that are going to be going with the human trafficking and human justice angle first. See what kind of impact that'll have. So that is wonderful, hopeful news. May that continue and put a
Here's
real
hoping.
dent in things. That's great. So thank you for that follow-up, Michelle. And we'll make sure to have a link to all of what you found in our show notes as a great follow-up to last week. So thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, so before we dive into today's stories, we're going to just take a quick ad break, and then we'll be back with Joe first.
And now, a word from our sponsor, ThreatLocker. AI coding agents are writing code and reaching outside systems, often without human approval. OWASP calls that risk excessive agency. ThreatLocker helps fix it, giving every AI agent only the access it needs, controlling what it can run, touch, and reach on your network. ThreatLocker offers ready-to-deploy policies for popular agentic AI tools. Learn more during our next break.
And we are back. All right, Joe, you are up first today. So why don't you tell us what your story is?
My story comes from Bleeping Computer, a website whose name I absolutely love. And I say that every time I hear it. It makes me chuckle inside a little bit. It makes me happy.
I love
And this
nerd
is
humor.
this is from Sergey Gatlin. And the headline is, WhatsApp rolls out new feature that flags potential scam messages.
Gee whiz. Okay.
About time, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
All right.
we do a lot of throwing shade, as the kids say, towards Meta and their constituent companies like WhatsApp. But they are testing a new feature for scam detection. It is an optional feature that runs an on-device machine learning model that alerts users to potential scams. So WhatsApp says no message content leaves the device for classification, although we're going to find out later that's not entirely true. Nor is it reported to WhatsApp or Meta. The model is trained on scam conversations reported by users. So I want to give you a little background into how this works. This is a small machine learning model, and I'm getting my a second master's degree in data science, and we actually did something like this in that class, where we were classifying things, actually movie reviews, as either good or bad. And I think this is very similar. And these models do not need to be huge. They can be pretty lightweight models. And the way this works is this is something called supervised learning, which means you have data of known good and scam messages or good and scam conversations.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you train the model on that data, and then you take that model and you put it in, and then you run new information through it, and it will classify the conversation based on whether or not it matches with the numerical patterns, because everything gets broken down into some kind of number here. It's not really any magic or anything. If it statistically matches a scam conversation or a benign conversation.
Okay.
So this is something that's been around for a while. It's not new technology. It's I mean, in the grand scheme of things, yeah, it's not like the wheel, right? You know, it's much newer than that, or fire. But it's
thank you for that important clarification.
Going so far.
in the computer world, this is not anything. This is like in the machine learning world, this is like the wheel or fire. This is older technology.
Yeah.
It's if it decides that a conversation is potential spam or a scam rather, the user will see an in-chat warning asking them to report if they want to block the conversation, block the user, report the conversation, or continue with the conversation.
Mm-hmm. If
the user decides that the warning is incorrectly flagged, the user can mark the chat as trusted, in which case the warning is resolved, and this tool, they're calling it Scam Alert, will not flag that chat again.
Okay,
So
okay, I could see some potential issues there, but all right.
Right.
Yeah, but so it's doing its evaluation based on your chat history, how you talk, how the people you speak with talk, how your conversations go. So it's a personalized almost evaluation from this model.
I don't think it's personalized. I think it's generalized because then they'd have to have access to your conversation history as training data. And I don't think they have that.
I guess I
So-
just assumed that these
Yeah.
people stay overstepping. So I just like, oh, you're going to not take some
I
data?
actually would have assumed that they have all that.
Yeah.
That's
I
funny
would
that
not
you're
have
saying
put
that they don't.
that past Meta.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
Let me be
live
clear.
over the line.
Right.
I figured of course they have that data. Why would they not use it? But okay, yeah. I mean, I don't want them to, but I can understand. Okay, anyway, I'll stop there. But
Yep.
yeah, so what's interesting to me is sometimes the scam is not obvious. So I
Right.
could see that warning coming up, and you're like, no, it's not a scam. And then later the tell reveals itself, and
I
it's sort
am
of
going to. I have a follow-on story that is very closely related to this. That was almost my story today, but I found this story. I was like, wow, this blend dovetails very nicely with this other story. I'm going to do this and then follow up with that. So that's where we're going to go.
Okay, because I could see a scammer almost gamifying that internally and going, how far can I take this before they market it as safe, and then I go for the kill.
Right.
Okay.
WhatsApp adds that if user marks that they can trust the chat, they can also opt in to share the last 5 messages received with WhatsApp to help improve the feature's accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Some data is shared with Meta and is going to be used for training data.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
that statement that says no data is sent back to WhatsApp or Meta, not entirely true, although the user does have to volunteer to do it. Which is okay with me. I'm okay with that part.
Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
going to do that, informed consent to a degree.
So here's what I like about this. Number one, it's something, right? They're
So the bar is that low.
right.
It truly.
Something from Meta and WhatsApp that looks to do this. Number two, it's a local model, which means that you can preserve your end-to-end encryption. The model will only be looking at your text, the text of the messages on your phone or your device, and making an evaluation, not sending them up. And then it pops an alert into that chat. Here's
yeah,
what
I like that.
Here's what I don't like about it. Number one, it is off by default. Users must enable this. At least this is from my reading of this article in Bleeping Computer.
I do like that.
The other thing, you do like that it's off by default?
Anything that's like reading and analyzing the contents of whatever message I'm sending, yeah, I want to opt in, not opt out.
I'll accept that. For most of the people out there, though, that are about to get scammed, I would rather see this be on by default. And if they're being honest and not sending messages or results or metrics about this back up to them, then if it's all happening locally on the device, I would be fine with this being on by default as opposed to off by default. But
I'll give you that.
I accept your reasoning, Michelle. It's not invalid, and given the history of companies, especially Meta, I would accept that this is a valid concern or valid configuration. The second thing I don't like is it only checks incoming messages from non-contacts. So what if the user adds the person as a contact, the scammer as a contact? Then does that mean that this is disabled? What if somebody
What if someone gets compromised? Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would imagine that you have to accept them being a contact. If they add you as a contact, that doesn't automatically go like both ways. So
Right.
if you don't add them as a contact, as long as like that doesn't turn it off, I'm fine. Spoofing, there are very few issues that can negate, hey, someone's device was entirely compromised. It's very difficult to have any type of detection of that.
Yeah, but if you have a contact, let's say you and I are connected on WhatsApp. I don't even have WhatsApp, Michelle, but let's say we are. And I start sending you messages on, hey, you coming into work today? Hey, are you doing can you do it? And then something else happens and somebody gets a hold of my account and the first thing they do is, hey, Michelle, I got this great crypto investing opportunity. And you know me, and you know I'm a big crypto bro, right?
Yeah, so that sounds totally likely for you to say that.
Right.
So
Not
the red
anything I would
flags?
ever propose to anybody, believe it or not.
He has never brought it up at work. I can vouch for that.
Right.
Okay, all
I know where
right.
his office is.
Yeah.
We'll have words.
That sounded like a threat. I'm just going to say it.
Thinly veiled.
Come down there with a baseball bat and go, I just lost $5,000.
I did not introduce the bat.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
But you will neither confirm nor deny its existence.
Right.
All right, anyway. So
Oh, okay. So once it's disabled for a chat, it never checks it again, which is probably an attempt to reduce user friction. Like I don't want my mom's chats being flagged as a scam, right? And
Well, because you also want to prevent like alert fatigue.
Yeah,
if they have to
exactly.
dismiss
Yeah,
it all the
yes.
time, they're just going to start dismissing it out of hand.
That's a good point. And
Yes.
so this is not really a big don't like about it. But the other thing I don't like is I think this will probably be pretty easy to socially engineer around.
Yeah, I can see that.
First off, if
Yep.
I can convince you to add me as a contact, this tool will never check our conversation. Or if I'm talking to you and it says, hey, I just got a scam alert. Oh, it always gives that scam alert. Just dismiss it and trust the chat.
It's so annoying. Yeah,
Right,
that's exactly it. Because I'm thinking most people are automatically suspicious-ish of a text message from a phone number they don't have as a contact, or an unsolicited message that just comes in. Many people are going, I don't know who this is. Why are they messaging me? So automatically, if we're going to say so the hackles are already up. So great to have the checks on that. But it's when the guard is down that I'd be a little more concerned. And then, Joe, I'm actually with you on this one. As much as I want everything to be opt-in, and that's personally also my position for my own things, I've been amazed when I've talked to sort of more general groups of people, and a lot of the questions I've been getting lately are things like, how is AI going to be protecting us? What's AI doing to keep us safe from these kinds of scams that are just becoming so overwhelming? And I think there are a number of people who actually really want this to be on by default because they're just like, this needs to be protecting me. I don't want to have to think about this. So as much as I'm, Michelle, personally with you on the terms of I want to personally opt in, I think a lot of people don't.
Right.
I do also accept, this is their first cut at this.
Agreed.
This very likely is going to evolve.
They have made this clear they're in testing for this right now. So they're not, I don't think they're releasing it right now.
So they're not saying, oh my God, we solved it.
No.
Look at us.
No.
Internet crime is over.
I don't think they're making that claim at all.
They also lose money if crime is over.
Right. An unanswered question here. That's right. They would lose. They would go, their stock price would drop so much.
They lose money.
An unanswered question is, what is the provenance of the training data? How are they getting the conversations that are not malicious? Assuming that they're using some kind of machine learning classifier. That means they have to have data from conversations that are benign. Where are they getting that? I'd like to know. It doesn't talk about that in the article. They may have disclosures about this, but this article didn't answer it. Last, I want to go on to the case of Dave Martin. And I have Dave Martin in quotes because I have another article here from Local 12. Local 21. It's great being dyslexic. But he's from, Dave Martin is a pseudonym for a guy who lives in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, just outside of Philly. And he lost $400,000 to a cryptocurrency scam when he started playing chess with somebody on chess.com. That person became started chatting with them during that game. And we see this all the time where people are starting to use these platforms like chess.com or Words with Friends or anything like that as a way of opening the scam. But after a while, he added her to his, or he started chatting with her. I'd say, again, her in quotes again, because it probably wasn't a her, or it may not have been. The scammer started talking with them, with Dave on WhatsApp. And that conversation went on literally for months before any mention of a cryptocurrency investment opportunity. And I don't know if this tool would have helped Dave Martin, because chances are months down the road when you're talking with somebody and you are building a relationship, even if it's fake, you have probably added that person to your WhatsApp contacts, which means this tool is not going to check the chat. That's a trusted individual. So when they start talking about crypto investment opportunities, the tool won't even fire off. So
yeah,
I think this is, first off, I'm going to say we do a lot of dissing of Meta. So I'm going to say good job on this one, Meta. Yes, yes, we do. This is a good first step, and this is a good first iteration of the step. I'm not going to criticize this at all. I think this is a good first step. There are a few things that I would like to see in future iterations that maybe change and ways to look at this. But as far as first steps go, this is I'll go ahead and say it. This is a great first step. I'll
join you on that. I'll join you on that, Joe. I mean, think about Meta and also specifically WhatsApp. Their user base is just about everybody.
Right.
So doing anything to help out just about everybody, I think that it's actually worth.
that they didn't take the shortcut about being like, okay, but then you have to say goodbye to end-to-end encryption. They actually tried to come up with a solution that would work for users as the agreement stands. You still get end-to-end encryption.
I'm with that too. That's one of the things I really like about this is that the local model preserves that end-to-end encryption piece.
Yeah, this seems like they actually were just pitching a solution without some other veiled end goal from like Meta's side. Like this actually just seems like it's trying to be a solution.
But it's for your safety and security.
Yeah.
Right.
All the time.
We're just going to be reading your messages for your safety and security.
Yeah.
So this
advertising
this doesn't sniff of that, which is
a
pleasant surprise.
Yeah. It is a very pleasant smell, isn't it?
I wouldn't go that far. Still WhatsApp.
You said sniff of it, so going with the smell analogy. Guess that didn't work.
It's the Scratch and Sniff podcast. It's great. Okay.
Oh my God.
I better keep my dog away from this place.
Getting real weird in here.
And we are only on the first story.
First story.
Yeah. Well, Joe, I think that is it for your story today, right?
It is, yes.
All right. Oh, excellent. So, Michelle, it is over to you for our second story of the day. What do you have?
So this comes from the Wall Street Journal. Journalist Joe Barrett put it together. And I got to admit, when I first read this, I thought that it was going to be a little bit more of a straightforward jury duty scam. It is actually a two-phased thing, similar to what I mentioned last week.
I was going to say, you and your two-phased stories.
Well, there's a lot of them now, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is becoming a very profitable business model.
Yeah, because we're all kind of learning. This is a jury duty scam, as I alluded to, in Tampa, Florida. A woman was scammed out of $25,000 in a jury duty scam. But this was not just taking her money. Like, she was traumatized after. I've never read a story like this. It was really hard to get through a little bit. So this started with in Pasco County in Florida. A woman, she was a late 30s woman. She had just gotten a refurbished Samsung phone and didn't recognize a number calling her. It's important that she had a refurbished phone. The person on the other line, a so-called deputy, said that Fudge, that's the woman's last name, had missed jury duty in a federal case despite signing a document promising to appear, and an angry judge issued a warrant for her arrest. The caller knew that the woman's parents had retired from the nearby Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department, and he offered her a deal: pay bail and then come to the station to confirm her signature didn't match the documents, and she will get a refund on the spot. Trying to scare, like, I know your father worked in the sheriff's department. Do you really want to, get in trouble with the law? And there was one catch. There was a gag order in the case, meant that if she told anybody, both she and whomever she informed could face charges. She wasn't allowed to talk to anybody. They introduced the time pressure. Her fine was $15,000, but she only had $4,000. They said, okay, we'll do the $4,000. And she was given a drop-off location. So she goes to that drop-off location, and she's fairly taken aback when it was a convenience store with a cryptocurrency machine inside. When she pushed back asking, are you sure this is where I'm supposed to post bail? He got super serious, and he reminded her that they have her location and deputies were 2 blocks away prepared to bring her in if she did not pay her bail. So she could even, during this call, she's on the phone with these people the whole time. During the phone call, she could hear apparent police radio traffic and chatter in the background of the call, lending it to its legitimacy.
Awesome. That's a good tactic.
Yeah.
And I say awesome with the dripping with sarcasm, if you can't tell.
It's like
not sarcasm,
sound
disdain.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
She was told to scan a QR code on the machine and deposit the cryptocurrency, and she did that. During the exchange, she used her phone to search the nearest bank branch, and the scammer asked her what she was doing and why she was Googling that. She realized that the deputy could see what she was searching on her phone. They had, they knew her social security number. They knew how much she had in her bank accounts. They could see her texts. They could see her searches. They knew what she was doing. There's a note in here that explains that, and this is where it's the two-parter. Refurbished phones can come loaded with spyware prior to shipment. They somebody shipped her a refurbished phone with spyware loaded and used that to get all this information that law enforcement may potentially have.
Oh my gosh.
She had no idea.
Oh my gosh.
You can refix it by restoring to factory settings, but that's not common practice. You expect that it's shipped with the refurbishment. But they were able to see her searching the nearest bank branch, and they're like, why are you doing that? And they probably said that they have a warrant to be tracking her phone, lending legitimacy to this whole thing.
Wow.
So after I'm not even done.
I'm just like, I buy a lot of refurb stuff. So
this gets worse about 2 or 3 more times.
Oh
my God.
Remember, she was duped out of $25,000. We're only at $4,000 at this moment.
Okay.
So after she deposited the cash, a new deputy came on the phone to escalate, saying the judge had reviewed her finances and would not approve the lower bail for $4,000. She has to do the full 15. And she attempted to make multiple deposits totaling $17,000. She gave extra money in the panic. Like, this is a continuous phone call that she is doing. And they told her after she hit the $17,000 that, yep, that is enough. Come on down to the police station and let's resolve the signature issue. While she was in transit, the police told her to pull over and apparently informed her that the bail needed to be deposited all at once to trip something in the system, not in increments. While crying from this, because she doesn't have this money, she said that she thinks that this is a scam. And then another voice, we're now on like the third person, took over, claiming to be the marshal, not a deputy, and told her to wait there while they send deputies to arrest her. Or she can just pay the full 15 in full in one deposit, and that'll like trip the system to make this all go the way it's supposed to. So she then texted her husband. Her husband got involved, and she asked him to transfer $5,000 on PayPal. She tried to forward some of it to the scammers, and PayPal's fraud protection threw a flag and stopped the transaction.
Okay.
So PayPal coming through, the first stop in this. And the husband, who was like very confused over the phone because the text message was something along the lines of, don't ask questions, I need $5,000. Just, we'll talk later. And he trusts his wife, so he did it. He asked ChatGPT why she would want to do this, and Chat said that it's probably a scam. Someone's probably scamming her. So when she asked for more money because the transaction was stopped, she asked her husband for more. He said no money until he knew that she was safe, and he called 911. After nearly 8 hours on the phone with these scammers trying to get them money, the scammers patched in her husband and warned Kimberly not to speak. With her husband on the phone, warned her not to speak unless directed to, or they would retrieve her from her location. Because they have her phone location. They have everything on her phone.
God.
And even the husband said that it was hard to tell if it was real or not. He said that their accents sounded, and this is a quote, I'm not saying this, he's saying this, sounded like real hillbilly cops in whatever neck of the Florida woods they are in.
Oh, geez.
They used AI to fake local Florida accents to make it sound like they were from that area. Eventually, Jonathan had an idea. Jonathan's the husband. He told the callers Kimberly could swing by home and grab a debit card and hit the ATM. As she proceeded there, they threatened to arrest her and Jonathan again and suggested that she stay in a hotel overnight to not violate the gag order while she gets the additional money. By the time she got home, when she was like realizing that this was a scam, there was a real deputy to take her report. 10 hours on the phone, 5 different people acting like they were escalations, an entirely compromised cell phone with all of her personal information to get a total of over $25,000.
My gosh. Okay, so firstly, I almost don't believe, I believe you, but I think if I was meeting you at like a bar and you were telling me this story, I would say I don't believe you.
Yeah, I would get sent back to the writer's room for not being realistic. I'm with you.
This is incredible in like the worst possible way. I'm sorry, I'm just a little bit in shock.
She said that she was a psychological hostage. She could not use her phone to get any help. And I think that is,
I believe it,
an apt description for what she went 10 hours
I would agree.
eating. She could not even look to try and find help.
I mean, I'm exhausted thinking about it. I mean, you
Yep.
can't see me. We're not a video podcast, but the whole time you were telling me this, my jaw was literally dropped. I'm
Yeah.
just, oh my gosh. Whoa.
Unbelievable. And all started with a refurbished phone being sent out with spyware.
Oh my.
Yeah.
So, okay. For those of us who buy refurbs, I am one of those people. Just
You do
set
have to
everything
do a
back to
hard
factory
rewrite.
settings.
Yep.
Yeah. I was gonna say hard rewrite, right? And if you don't know how to do that, there are ways to find out on the internet.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the other thing that I'm taking away from this is I think just a few years ago, I would not have believed this would happen to an ordinary person. This sounds like an incredibly elaborate setup that they'd only go after, a high value target that they had, gone out of their way to figure out.
Yeah,
This
and her
person,
father was in law enforcement. She's
Yeah.
not just never interacted, doesn't know how anything works.
Right.
She just happened to get caught in their net, but they were
Yeah.
able to keep her hostage is exactly the right phrase.
They created the
10
pressure by
hours.
monitoring everything in her phone,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
monitoring her searches to
That
see
can,
like,
I can see how
you
that
try and-
absolutely ramps up the pressure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You have no idea.
Holy cow.
Just so many. It was mind-boggling.
Yeah. So what do people need to remember about interacting with actual law enforcement? Like there are certain parts of the story that maybe there may have been an off-ramp that and again, I'm not putting blame on her for this, but are there off-ramps here that people should keep in mind for what real interactions with law enforcement actually are like?
Yeah, the authorities warn they will not call you to threaten to arrest you or demand money over missed jury duty. These are, as with anything else, the police have proper procedures to follow. It is not going to be you have to do something right then and there to avoid legal battles. Our legal system is a mess and it takes forever. One of the nice things though about that then is nothing you do has to be done in that moment. The courts take time to do their processes. Everything comes with legitimate paperwork. Nothing will be done over the phone. And obviously do the hard reset, but
If the cops have a warrant for your arrest, they are not going to call you. They're just going to show up and take you.
Yes, they show up in person. That's right.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's interesting for a lot of us who don't have, and again, her being a law enforcement family, that does add some interesting flavor. But
that was part of the threat at the beginning.
Yeah.
They said, we can just call over to our buddies over at whatever sheriff's department your father was part of.
Yeah. I think for a lot of us who don't even have that kind of a context, we might think that law enforcement or just the law in the United States works a lot faster than it actually often does.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a really good note that you included there, that this does tend to work more slowly if it's even really happening, and it doesn't work this way. But a lot of people don't know that. I mean, we just sort of assume it's crime's been committed. Police are going to arrest you immediately. It's just kind of
it's like
doesn't
the
work
shows
that way.
on TV. Oh, we got them, boys.
Yeah,
And-
it doesn't work that way.
And with a standard, they will never take payment in crypto.
Yeah.
Right.
Literally ever.
Yep.
That is not how anything is collected when it comes to the law.
But you can, if you're, it's one of those things. Like I can see how you would believe that. I can see easily how, especially if you're on the phone for that long, they can construct a very believable world that you don't even realize that you're falling into. It just seems just plausible enough. Oh man, 10 hours. That's wow. That's so wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What a story.
Yeah, it's not just an immediate, hey, click this link that for something plausible looking prize. It's so frustrating now that it feels like every action you take, no matter what, you have to avoid being scammed. Even from like legitimate businesses. It's like their business model is scamming you now. Even for like technically legitimate businesses. Getting a refurbished phone should not involve the opportunity to put spyware on it. But that is where we are. It's exhausting.
Yeah, it's I think I've seen a lot of social media chatter about this kind of thing lately about moving into a lower trust society, as in we're watching it happen very quickly in the United States, and the emotional mental toll it takes on people, and it's real. It's real, and it's something I think we don't call out specifically on this show because we're sort of talking around it. But I mean, we're seeing a lot of it, and this is a great example of a way that you wouldn't have to expect. You would need to also keep your guard up, and yet there it is.
I should not need a PhD in investigative journalism to want to buy a $200 couch or something. Like, I shouldn't need to do that.
And yet
here we are.
Yep. Michelle, what a great story. Thank you for bringing this to the show. Really appreciate it. And of course, as always, we will have the link in the show notes for people who want to read more about it. Whew, let's take a little palate cleanser break. I know I need one for a little hydration. A little quick ad break now before we get to our last story. All right, we'll be right back.
And now a word from our sponsor, ThreatLocker. The workplace is evolving. AI coding agents are already writing code, managing files, and reaching outside systems on their own, often without a human approving every step. OWASP calls the risk that comes with that excessive agency, an AI agent with more capability than its task actually requires. ThreatLocker helps organizations enforce the fix instead, giving every agent only the access it needs and nothing more. That means controlling which programs an AI agent is even allowed to run, restricting what it can touch once it's running, files, other applications, sensitive data, and locking down which systems and websites it's permitted to reach on the network. ThreatLocker has even published ready-to-deploy starting policies for popular agentic AI tools, so your team isn't building these controls from scratch. Adopting AI doesn't mean giving up control of your environment. Learn how to apply zero trust to agentic AI at threatlocker.com/HH. And we thank ThreatLocker for sponsoring our show.
All right, let's go back now for our third story, and this one's me, and it's going to be much lighter than your story, Michelle.
Yeah, happy somebody's gonna bring some.
It almost has to be.
It has to be, yeah. And it's funny because I sort of prided myself on being like the Debbie Downer on a lot of the shows that I appear on.
I'm great at parties.
You and I will just sit in a corner, progressively depressing the other person until we're just like a dark
You're both
cloud.
over there in tears.
Life is horrible. All right, so let's check in with our scammer liturgical calendar, shall we? I know.
What season of the
finally get to
calendar?
be a part of one.
I know. We really need some theme music for this. And
yes,
we do.
I kind of want it to sound ecclesiastical. I'm just putting
Excuse
that
me,
in the
what's
ear.
that word? Ecclesiastical?
Churchy,
That's
but
I
although I
learning
think
new
it would
words.
imagine on your flavor of church if one
Somebody
does
was
such
playing
a thing.
with their thesaurus.
Oh no, it's because I grew up going to church. So
Yeah,
for
it's
me,
Greek.
that's like
Is it Latin?
It's a Greek word. Yes, it comes from the word ecclesia for church.
Right, because
I love that.
Are you
It's Greek.
Now I gotta look it up because in
Bag
Spanish,
on.
iglesia is the same word and it means church.
It's because it comes from the Greek
your
word.
story.
It's my obligatory. It's a Greek word segment.
Okay.
So my story is about the scammer liturgical calendar. In this case, we're talking about back to school scams because here in the United States, we are, as the moment of recording, deep in the season of back to school. Many kids are back at school already. In the case of my kid, it is we are just a few weeks out from that dreadful or wonderful day, depending on your point of view. And what's the name of the publication is The Democrat and Chronicle, and this is from New York State. And this specific story was written by a person with the best name ever, Beyonce Thomas Reynoso. So I'm reading a story from Beyonce. Everybody.
You're joking.
No, that is her
I
name,
love
Beyonce
that.
Thomas Reynoso. Thank you, Beyonce, for this warning story about back to school scams.
Now I gotta be careful about this because I'm going back to school next week.
Oh. So
Hey, I
yes,
don't think you're going to be the kinds of people that they're going after with like, get a deal 2 for 1 for pencils. You know,
I gotta go out and
don't know if
get
you're the
my
guy.
Trapper Keepers. And
You got to get your Trapper Keeper, and I know
Right.
for a fact you are not in the market for a new backpack because we talked
I was
about
just
that
about to crack
extensively.
that joke. Oh, you beat me to it. So mad.
It's like Joe backpack. We have
Yeah.
to say it. But many other
JanSport
people,
doesn't want to talk to you. They know better.
No, he's an Osprey man. We've established this.
Mm-hmm. Oh
my God.
So
I know
mad.
too much about this now. So for this story about specifically back to school scams now, again, this
Oakley.
was written. What was that?
Oakley, not Osprey.
Oh, Oakley. I'm sorry.
Oakley,
I thought it was
right.
Osprey. Oh my gosh.
No.
Retracted. You're an Oakley man, not an Osprey
Yes.
man. Oakley. Okay, my bad. All right. So for this story, it's a New York-centric back-to-school scams, but I think this applies, for many people, wherever you're located, if you have especially children that are going back to school. I didn't know this, but apparently this shopping season is the second biggest of the year compared to the holiday season. So this is... I wouldn't have necessarily expected that, but it's also not terribly surprising. So there's a lot of money flying right now.
There's a lot of opportunity for scamming people.
There sure is.
Yeah.
So a Price Waterhouse Coopers PwC U.S. consumer poll found that 73% of parents and caregivers plan to use what else but artificial intelligence during their back-to-school shopping, including researching products, comparing prices, and creating budgets and finding deals. So I think this may go beyond simply just searching for cheap backpacks near me and seeing what, the search engine of your choice comes up with an AI result. I think some people are also maybe using those in-browser extensions where they're trying to help you find deals and cut straight to the chase, or maybe even do the shopping for you. And that is where people are apparently starting to get into more trouble than they used to. As we have talked about on the show many times, it is trivial, and I mean a matter of seconds, for scammers to generate a fake but really convincing-looking website, a retail website specifically, as well as deceptive advertisements and AI-generated content. And all of this is creating, as it will during the holiday season when we talk about it in a few months, a perfect storm for scamming people out of their hard-earned cash. So if you are looking for backpacks, pencils, whatever back-to-school supplies, or just clothes for your little one, just keep in mind that scammers can and are creating websites by the dozens, if not hundreds of dozens, that look really, really legit. In some cases, they're meant to look very similar to a retailer that maybe you know and love, but just maybe a little different. And in other cases, it's a brand new retailer that maybe you've never heard of before, but it has like this really nice boutique offering that looks appealing and the prices are just right. So check URLs for weird spellings or extra characters or unfamiliar domain extensions. Those can be a kind of a red flag. But if there are really emotional stories trying to sell to you, if the reviews look a little too perfect, although those are hard to trust now too because those are easily faked, that just look out for red flags like that. Trust your spidey sense if it's going, this looks a little too good to be true. It probably is. The discounts also, if they're too appealing. If someone's offering you 75% off for a back-to-school special, my friends, probably got some bad news there on how legit that website is. Although I'd love to believe it. I'd love a 90% discount on stuff, but yeah. And then apparently, going along with the back-to-school shopping scams, there's also a lot of package scams that come along with this. So the classic, hey, you missed a delivery type text. Scammers are betting on people getting a lot of packages coming to their house this time of year. So if they slip in, hey, fake delivery scam text, they're hoping maybe you won't be as vigilant because you've got a lot coming your way. So increase your vigilance, if anything, right now. And if you've got a high school student or someone in your family who's taking some sort of standardized test, there are a lot of fake test prep offers that tend to explode this time of year as the anxiety ramps up. So be on the lookout for those as well. So just a warning that the College Board, for those that know what that is, they don't make unsolicited calls or request sensitive information like a social security number or credit card information. So be very wary of calls to that degree. And yeah, so this is sort of my just general warning that the scams are abounding this time of year, especially, and if you are in the school system, whether it's a kid or it's you, just be wary of what's coming your way and be aware of things that are too good to be true.
I miss back when criminals had a code, It used to be, I know, like I find myself yearning for it used to be like early on in like cybercrime and learning in cybersecurity and stuff. Criminals would not go after three things in particular: kids, hospitals, or space. It was kind of understood. Space is super important. We don't want to mess with, that kind of communication stuff, like there's a lot of things that rely on that. Not worth it. Not worth the juice. Not worth the smoke that you would get. Kids just don't do that. Hospitals have to be able to have access to their computers and stuff. And now because anybody can point and click, anybody can create a scam. And that kind of like criminals code seems to have gone away with the bar of entry into this.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It takes no skill to do a lot of this stuff. It really doesn't. It's not criminal genius at all.
Exactly. And then so it's just like, you don't have to, not going to go through my rant from last week, but yeah, it's just like I miss when there was like a code of ethics within, like you go after the people that can stand to lose it, not kids who are already doing school drives for crayons.
I know it. And I feel, I'm deep in the season of back to school shopping right now because my kid again is a few weeks out. And I only have one kid, and she's not hard to shop for. And I'm going, I would love to outsource a lot of this because the idea of having to drag her to a mall or whatever, what year is it, and do all this stuff.
Right. With everybody else.
Yeah. Does not fill me with joy.
I grew up in a household with, if my mom got scammed out of $50, I didn't get sneakers.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the $50 for sneakers.
And I hate to tell you that's like the low cost of sneakers for kids nowadays. It's crazy how expensive kids' shoes have become. They cost as much as an adult's pair of sneakers now.
A whole other conversation.
It's a whole other thing. Like I just look at the price tag and I'm just going, that I could buy shoes for myself at that price, and this person is half my size. So anyway.
And she'll outgrow them in 3 months.
In 3 months? Yeah. It's a whole, again, like, don't get me started. But yeah, it's a lot of money. It is a lot of money, and it's a lot of time, even if you're just doing it online. And I don't even want to give people the advice of like, you can avoid all this by doing it in person, because nobody got time for that. So,
and also a lot of stores don't have good selection for that anymore.
That's like
stores
a whole
have abandoned brick and mortar. It's not even like you can just opt out of it. That's not an option anymore. In a lot of cases.
You can't just hop on down to Sears. I mean, again, what year is it? It's not like it was when we were kids. People who are saying this stuff to me.
Oh yeah, doing that runway walk and pay less. Now turn, run. Oh yeah,
I know.
I felt like a superstar. I felt like a superstar. How's the toe fit?
My God.
Is it scrunched? Yeah, we can't do that.
Pick your toe up. See if I can feel it through the shoe. Where is it in the end of the shoe?
I've not had a unique experience.
I knew the Payless walk real well because I have wide feet, so it was the only store that I could shop at. So.
Exactly, and that's not an option anymore. It's again doing investigative journalism to see where you're getting your favorite colored pencils from is legitimate. It's exhausting.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And I have it, as I said, I have it on easy mode. I have only one kid, and my school district actually buys all our kids their supplies. I'm very, very lucky. So I don't have to do like the going out for pencils and folders or whatever. And I still am overwhelmed by the stuff I got to do to get ready. So it's a lot. So for everyone else who's in the trenches, please just be aware, keep track of what's coming in. Be aware of deals that are too good to be true, as much as I really wish they were true. And be wary of text scams coming your way about packages as well, because those will pick up. So,
and don't beat yourself up if like you're trying to do best for your kid. There's a different emotional side of this. Do not beat yourself up if you do get pinched by one of these. Just give yourself some grace.
Yeah,
it's hard being a parent.
Well said. Yeah,
it is.
Very well
You're
said.
very distracted. I guarantee that 100%.
All right, now it is time for the catch of the day. It sounds like we have a good one today, Joe.
We have an interesting one. It comes more as a story. There's a picture in here as well, but it comes from Amy, and she says, "Hi, Dave, Joe, and Maria." Well, today we're going to say, "Hi, Michelle, Joe, and Maria."
Strong start.
Huge fan of the show. Love how the three of you gel so perfectly. Thanks for what you do. I've learned so much. I was listening to the episode of Hacking Humans titled Red Flags Ahead. Joe stated that using cash or check in person is the best option. While typically I agree with Joe, I wanted to share a check scam I'd never seen before. I've been holding on to this one, waiting for the perfect time to send it. And even though it happened to me back in 2022.
Wait a second. You've been hanging on to this for 4 years? To send it?
What?
Wow.
I want to
talk. I want to get to know her, being like, what's the threshold? How do you make your decisions?
Also, my goodness, I can't remember things from 4 days ago. You've held on to this for 4 years. I'm genuinely impressed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So go ahead. So, Joe, what did Amy send us?
There's more here. It says, I send a check to someone monthly for their services. In June of 2022, she told me she hadn't received the payment and knew this was weird for me. So I checked, and in fact, I had written the check to her, and it was cashed. However, when I looked at the check, the image of the check, which she sent along, the front had been changed, and a new person signed it. Next to my service provider's name was written Cecilia Johnson, and then signed the back Cecilia Beauty Johnson. And here's the check. So if you guys look into the script, you will see the picture of the check. It was written to somebody, and Amy has smartly blacked that out. But at the end of that, it says, or Cecilia Johnson.
I didn't know you could do or. I thought it was only and.
Or. This is news to me. Or?
This feels like an oversight on the bank.
Right. I'm going to get to this. They brought the check into the in person to a branch of the credit union and provided an ID and got the money. When I got the credit union involved, they said it looked like the same handwriting and the same pen to them. So in other words, this person did a pretty good job of forging Amy's writing style and used the same kind of pen. They even questioned me about it, despite writing checks to this provider for years that did not include Celia Johnson. They eventually gave me back my money, and hopefully someone found this scammer. It is a mystery how the check was intercepted. I was shocked that it was this easy. And here's my favorite part. I can hear Joe now saying, didn't you write a line through the blank space after the provider's name on the check? No, Joe. No, I didn't. I'm going to say this. If I don't fill up the entire line of that check with pay to the order in the pay to the order of, I put a line through the rest of that check.
Oh my God.
Just like you do with the money.
What year is it? I cannot believe we're still using checks in the year 2026. It's just...
Well, I mean, there are places that charge a 3% convenience fee. If you're doing anything more than a little bit, then I'm writing a check.
I guarantee you all of our listeners outside of the United States are like, how is it that you all are still using checks? It's wild. It's wild. Okay.
Just thought anyone still using checks like Joe should know about this. Very easy way your money can get taken. Phew. I look forward to more episodes and more chicken updates. So Amy's pro-chicken.
She's pro-chicken?
Yes.
Okay. Write that down.
Right. Now, here's a funny thing. Just a couple of weeks ago, I went to a birthday party. My niece has a 1-year-old, and we showed up to the birthday party, and I wrote a check to payable to either my niece or my, I guess, grandniece. And there's another me getting older. But I put both their names on the check in with the or in the middle. So yes, you can do this.
Yeah, that feels like that shouldn't be allowed.
It is allowed. And
I'm just saying, I feel like it shouldn't be.
I do know this. I think I learned this this may have been something I learned from somebody when I was selling or delivering auto parts. I walked into, if I'm remembering this correctly, I walked into the business office and there was an account clerk there, and she was taking checks that had been written to the auto parts company and putting lines after the pay to the order of the auto part company. I can say the name. They're not around anymore. It was Arrow Auto Parts in Rockville. And they would, she went through and she said, you should always put a line after this because somebody can write or their name and cash the check.
Wow.
And I was interesting. I didn't know you could do that, but I did know. So I have known for like 30 years, 30 years? Yeah, 30 years. Let's say 30 years. I haven't crossed 40 years since I was delivering auto parts yet. I'm not that old, but
quick math for an old man.
I've known.
Dang,
wow.
Michelle.
Good thing we're not at the office.
Baseball bat.
I'm gonna pay for that later.
But yeah, so I mean, this is a practice I do, is writing that name or writing that line after the name, or if I can fill the whole line up with the name, then it makes this
I had no
very difficult
idea.
as well. Yeah,
I had no idea.
This is a real thing, and apparently it's been happening as recently as 2022.
Wow.
I'm getting
okay.
flashbacks to the Leonardo DiCaprio movie Catch Me If You Can.
Oh, that was a good
For
movie.
all the excellent, for all the check cashing schemes and stuff, and all the ways that it used to be super easy to, write a check and scam. And then what was it last year? The Gen Zers discovered check fraud and made a social media thing on it.
Right.
All over, it was a TikTok trend, and it's like, no, that's a crime. But
Right. You're committing,
yes,
you're committing
but
fraud.
That's right. I remember we did an episode on that.
Yeah.
We're like, this is all that's a crime. You will get
For sure,
arrested.
chronicle it for TikTok. That'll go well.
Yeah, smart people. Yeah, the flexibility in check writing I know has been to my advantage when I'm writing a check to someone when they've just had a baby, and it's like, hey, we're taking donations for their 529, or when someone's just gotten married and I'm giving them cash because culturally that's the norm in my culture, so it's okay. And it's like, I don't know exactly what name to make this out to, so I'm going to give it my best guess. I don't know if you're using your maiden name anymore or what's the deal. So that flexibility has helped in that case. But the or thing, I had no idea. I'd never heard of this.
Feels like
Oh my
a
gosh.
loophole you could drive a truck through, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not if you put that line after the pay to the
That
organization.
line. That line.
ironclad
Okay.
line.
Right. I mean, well, it's like when you write the line across the check for the amount, right?
Yeah.
You put $800. It just said you have to write that dollars so someone doesn't go $800,000.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And yet I'm thinking of all the times I've had checks rejected because somebody wrote the wrong year. They forgot that, the year had passed anyway, checks.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. Okay. Well, that was a very interesting catch of the day. Thank you, Amy. And thank you, Joe. That was awesome. So thanks for that. Let's take a quick ad break now before we close out the show.
Thank you to ThreatLocker for sponsoring Hacking Humans. Sign up for a free demo today and see how you can implement a default deny posture at your organization by visiting threatlocker.com/HH.
All right, everybody, and that is Hacking Humans, brought to you by N2K Cyberwire. As always, we would love to know what you think of this podcast, and if you learned something new about check writing, your feedback ensures that we deliver the insights that keep you a step ahead in the rapidly changing world of cybersecurity. If you like the show, please share a rating and review in your podcast app. Please also fill out the survey in the show notes or send us an email to hackinghumans@n2k.com. As you just heard, we love receiving your emails. We are privileged that N2K Cyberwire is part of the daily routine of the most influential leaders and operators in the public and private sector, from the Fortune 500 to many of the world's preeminent intelligence and law enforcement agencies. This episode is produced by Liz Stokes. Our executive producer is Jennifer Iben. We're mixed by Elliot Peltzman and Trey Hester. Peter Kilpie is our publisher, and I'm Maria Varmazes, in for Dave Bittner.
And I'm Joe Kerrigan.
And I'm Michelle Kellerman.
Thanks for listening.